Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today we're taking a look at how to create your first macro using the macro record tool in Microsoft Excel. It's really simple, really fast. We're just gonna touch the code a bit. After that, to clean it up, I'm gonna walk you through all the steps and you're gonna get your first actually usable macro that you can use on a daily basis. I'm gonna create this macro to help us format our worksheet every time we start working on a new project. By the way, if you enjoy those videos, a sub would be appreciated and also a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Let's get started. So the way we're gonna start is hit the record a macro button, give our macro some cool name like format worksheet, and make sure to record it in our personal macro workbook. This is the workbook that's always open in the background, so you always have access to those macros. And now Excel is recording every step we take. So let's give ourselves a name, company name, and the currency. I want everything to be font Arial, and I want it all to be 8 points in size. I like to use this really dark blue color. Go ahead, bold it, and use italic on it, and then just bold this one and this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and increase this a bit and increase this as well a bit more. It's our worksheet name. Make it stand out a bit more. Then I'm gonna go to view and remove the grid lines because I prefer a more clutter-free look to my worksheets. I'm also gonna rename the sheet. I want my macro to do that as well. And here we are. We can just stop recording our macro. Now if we go to the developer tab and open the Visual Basic editor, and go to the newly created module 1. This is our recorded macro. So what it does is it pretty much recorded every step that we took. It selected, you can see range B2 select. This means that it selects cell B2. The first thing we want to do is be able to pick the names and the worksheet name, the company name. So I'm going to create a variable, and you do that with dim, and the type is as string. And then instead of just directly giving it the name and the quotation marks, I'm gonna use an Excel VBA function, input box, and this allows me to ask for user input. This is the prompt and this is the title of the window. You can now go ahead and instead of just giving it the text, give it the value of the string. And that way it's gonna ask us every time and use that in cell B2. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for our company name. Just change the prompt, and it's gonna assign that to our active cell, which is we already selected B3. So I also want to add the sheet name at the bottom, so I'm gonna ask for that as well. But instead of using the active cell, we're gonna use active sheet.name, and I want to limit that to 30 characters maximum because that's how much we are allowed to use in a sheet name. And I'm gonna check if the length of my sheet name is above 30, then sheet name equals to left sheet name 30. This is pretty much like the left function in Excel, so that way we are avoiding a possible issue that's gonna break our macro. So if the sheet name is above 30 characters, we're just gonna shrink it to 30 and use that as the sheet name. The next thing we wanna do is, I don't want to be able to stop or mess with the macro as it's doing all those selections. So I'm gonna set application enable events to false and application screen updating. I'm also gonna set to false, and I think I need a dot here. Yep. And I'm also gonna remove the grid lines by using active window display grid lines equals false. The next thing we're gonna do is we wanna apply our formatting to all the cells, and I'm actually gonna do that before we ask for the different names. I'm gonna change the font, and I'm gonna use this recording here. This is how to set a font with selection.font. Allows me to do a lot of things with the selection.font handle without writing it out every time. So I want it to be Arial, and I want it the size to be 8, and I'm just gonna go ahead and copy all those others in case something was preset in the sheet before we used it. Okay, this is gonna select all the cells and apply my formatting. So now I don't need that. You can delete it. You can actually delete this one as well. what's left to do is I'm gonna remove this activate, but I'm gonna comment it because I'm not sure if it does anything that I need. And this is my selection of B2 to B5. So I want those to be bold. I don't want them to be italic. And we removed all the clutter, and now we can just focus to setting the size of 9 to B3, our company name. And here's where we changed the size, and I'm just gonna leave the 12 for B2, my worksheet name. And I accidentally selected cell C6, and I don't want that, so I can just delete that. And I also delete naming the sheet because we already did that. And I'm gonna leave range B7.select because I want my cursor to be there when we're done. And I also wanna apply some formatting to cell B5. Before we run it, let's go back and enable our events and also enable screen updating so we can be able to continue working with our sheet. And that's it. Let's add a new sheet and let's run our macro. And we have an error. Expected end width. So this end width, somewhere we have width statement and it's not closed. Here it is. Just need to add end width once we're done with all the font properties that we want to set. We run it again and it asks for a working name, a sheet name, and the company name. And here it is, but I don't like the font in B5. It's not italic, so let's just go ahead and fix that. Okay, here it is, and yeah, we have to have italic and not bold. And now if we run it, just run it on a sheet that we already run it on, and it's gonna overwrite the things that we have. And now everything looks fine. The only thing I want to do is I want to make the A column like narrower. So I'm just gonna select the whole column and I'm gonna set the column width to 1.25. Okay, I think that's the last addition that we had to do. This option explicit on the top that was added for us means that if we want to use a variable, we have to declare it. That's why we declared our sheet name variable. And here it is. Formatted just as I want it to be formatted every time I start preparing some working. And we're also going to move this select statement at the end because I don't want my column A to be selected. I want to be at B7, where I usually start typing in my headers. So now we can go to options, go to customize ribbon, and add a new tab. Move it around. Let's rename it. I'm going to call it My Tools. Then I'm going to rename the group as well. This is going to be my formatting group, and I want this icon for it. And then what we can do is go here, select macros, and look for the macro in our personal XLSB file and just add it to our section. I'm going to rename it and pick some nice icon for it. And that's it. Hit OK, and now we have our tab, My Tools, and it has our format sheet macro as a button. Let's see if it works. And here it is. Everything is formatted just the way I want it, and I'm left at cell B7 where I can start typing in my table header. Okay, let's look at the code a bit more. So what we do is after we create our variable, we set some application settings. So we want the screen to be off limits. Then we select all the cells, set the font to Arial, size 8, all those default things beneath. Then I'm gonna go ahead, select range B2. This is my cell B2 where I want to have my sheet name, and I'm gonna use the sheet name that we created to get the user to type in the name of the working, then the name of the sheet, the name of the company, and I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it with adding the currency. Just gonna set my custom color to my headings, and I'm gonna bold them. Then I'm gonna select B3 and B2 and set their respective size and shrink column A to 1.25. Enable events and screen updating again and leave the cursor at B7. Okay guys, that was a really fast and easy way to record macros and automate some routine daily tasks that you might have to do in Excel. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and maybe even punch that bell icon to receive notifications every time I upload a new video. Till then, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. It's something that you can use on a daily basis. Macros are okay guys, that was it for today. Just automate them by adding